3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, July 16th, 2018. I hope you're doing well. It's Monday, and the markets are up. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. I want to look at Bitcoin. I want to look at Litecoin. Here are some things that you can look out for today as we continue to track a possible upward move, a possible third bottom, and a reversal now. Let's see. Let's hop into Bitcoin. We're going to start at Bitcoin, then we're going to move over to Litecoin. But Bitcoin, for quite a few days now, you can see we've been talking about the possible formation of this reverse head and shoulders on the daily in Bitcoin. And I believe we were talking about it probably up in this area. So we were looking for a pullback to create a higher low from that previous low to form a shoulder. And so far, it's actually generating and looking pretty nicely. But there are some things I want to point out. So on the daily chart, you can kind of go back to that April area where we had that second bottom. And you can really create a channel with where we are right now. And there are two key areas. Mainly the close of that bottom on those, that red candle right there, I guess you could say, right around 66.20 or so, which is right around where we're trading as I do this video. And then the top of that channel, which is basically this previous area of resistance that Bitcoin has had on this at this third bottom. So it's a pretty small channel. It's not huge, but right now that's what we need to break through in order to, I guess you can say, confirm or at least complete this reverse head and shoulders. Obviously, in a reverse head and shoulders, what you'd want to see is breaking through it, pretty nicely, at least 2% above it. And then there could be a possible retracement to find support at the neckline. And that's kind of what I'd be looking for. So right now, Bitcoin making some moves, and you can see it on the 4 hour. You can really see the reverse head and shoulders on the 4 hour, how it's playing out, seeing resistance right here at the kind of at that 200 EMA level. And one thing I do want to point out in the daily is if we do break this $6,700 area, you see some confluence going on right there with that 50 EMA, which is a very important part or spot for Litecoin to break in terms of forming this bottom and actually seeing a reversal, a true reversal. It's the first step is breaking that 50 EMA. So here you can see on the 4 hour, I do want to point out something to be prepared for would be to see some resistance, which we're talking about right now, and possibly coming back down and testing these levels right around the $6,100 area. I know that sounds pessimistic and bearish, but I'm not trying to be bearish. I just want to point out, and if that happens, we can still have this reverse head and shoulders in play. It just may take a little longer. You can see at the head in this reverse head and shoulders, something similar happened. We had a run up, and then we came back down, and then we finally ran up again and started creating higher highs and higher lows to kind of lead us into that second shoulder. So the second shoulder might do the same type of pattern, and it's something to be prepared for as we look at some resistance areas right now. So let's move over to Litecoin, and we can look at it on the daily, and you can see very similar to Bitcoin. And actually, I do want to point out, and I don't know where my computer's like freezing. I want to point out in the stock RSI, you can see where Litecoin is in comparison to, I don't know why my computer is not working, in comparison to Bitcoin. Very similar, coming out of that oversold area. And actually, while I'm on the Bitcoin daily, and it looks very similar to Litecoin, I just want to point something out to you. In this second bottom, when we started getting that final upward momentum, one thing that you can notice is the stock RSI right on that big green daily candle is right up here, right approaching the overbought area. So if we had a very nice daily candle in the next day or so, you see we're actually not quite as high on the stock RSI. We have some room to go in terms of momentum. That's a very good sign and something to keep an eye on. So back to Litecoin, And I kind of want to just check out the 4-hour real quick, simply because we've been talking about this area for a few days as well, which is this also reverse head and shoulders, but on the 4-hour, not the daily. So this is a smaller time frame, and we were talking about it probably down here, maybe on this red candle day. We started talking about it, but we were looking for a break above the neckline, and more importantly, a break above this 50 EMA, which is probably was showing as a stronger area of resistance. And we broke that in the last, 8 hours, I guess, whenever this run started. So that's a good sign for Litecoin. Litecoin looking nice. Actually, Litecoin seeing a tad bit more gains than Bitcoin, nothing crazy. But lastly, I do want to point something out, which is to say this. We talked about this resistance area on Bitcoin, right? Very synergistic in that same area of that second bottom that Bitcoin had right back there. If Bitcoin can break this second bottom resistance area, this channel that we have, if it can break it, that's going to be extremely bullish for Bitcoin. If you look at Litecoin on the daily chart, it looks a little bit different, right? Let's zoom out here. We're nowhere near the second bottom of Litecoin. So that second bottom, like right in that $115 area, that's quite a ways off. If you take the price range, that is 40, around 40% away. So Litecoin really did kind of fall behind Bitcoin quite a lot over the past few weeks. And you can just really see it with this third bottom. It really went down. So I just really wanted to point that out. One thing that is good, Litecoin does tend to follow Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin does form a bottom here, goes on a nice bull run and breaks this previous area, Litecoin will hopefully go to the Litecoin chart. Hopefully, have a nice bull run as well through the 50 EMA up back above that 100, and then maybe we can start talking about breaking that previous second low. So those are my thoughts right now on Litecoin and Bitcoin. I know it's nice to see the markets moving. Will it continue? Only a matter of time before we find that out. But right now you can see at 66.20 on Bitcoin, we're seeing some resistance right now. So be prepared. Don't FOMO into this. Make a calculated decision on how you want to accumulate here if you're thinking about accumulating and buying in. If you are thinking about buying in based on the movement of this chart, this area up here, in my opinion, this is not financial advice, but this area up here, if we break that 6,700 and this 50 EMA, may be a good entry point as opposed to right now, because we may see some resistance here for a third time and for a possible bounce back down. So be prepared. We're having a good day today. Tomorrow can easily be a 10% red candle on the daily. So always be prepared, anticipate everything, and trade conservatively, invest conservatively. I appreciate all of you for coming by today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How you feeling about the market? I'm curious to know. I will see you in the next video, and God bless.